right, welcome in to the program this afternoon. Thank you guys for checking it out. As always, we appreciate it. Running a second or two behind. I apologize for that. It's so weird, like working at my house to remember, hey, you got to do a show today. But we'll do what we can to get you done. Jacked up on cherries ginger ale, the zero sugar kind, because I am a chunky ass. We will try to do a decent program for you today. All right, so first things first, we'll put the number out. If you want to get involved, or the number, the link, and I say number because doing this show on the radio for years, that's just what you said. Anyway, there's the link right there if you want to get involved with the program. If you have something that is bugging you, hey, have at it. A couple of things here that I was looking at is South Carolina's depth chart was released yesterday. Some couple of interesting notes on that really quick. Left tackle, they have Josiah Thompson, Kamir Bell as your left guard, Vershawn Lee's the center, Torselli Simpkins is your right guard, and Kason Henry is your right tackle. Or they have Tree Babalade as there's an or there on the left tackle side. And I understand that, you can maneuver some guys in and out here or there, and maybe they're playing mind games, but I was of the impression that Babalade is a big some bitch. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to be the guy that could just do some things. I was just hoping that there would be look, this guy is a clear cut number one. That's our left tackle. He's protecting our guy's backside, and then go from there. But if you don't have it, they didn't put it out there. I don't know. Just one of those little things for me. And maybe I'm just being picky. There's a possibility with that. The other thing was the wide receiving core. It says, Jared Brown, Nick Harbor, or Delvin Campbell. And then you have Vendurius Jacobs, Tyshawn Russell, Gage, and then they've got a whole bunch of ors after Gage Larvaden, Mazio Bennett, or Luke Doty, or Peyton Mangrum. It's like I look at this and I'm like, maybe they don't want to put anything out there. I don't know. Kind of interesting. Your running back, did they have the running backs? Yes. Rocket Sanders is your first team running back, or Juju McDowell, or Oscar Attaway, which is the young man from, I think he's the young man from Texas, if I remember right. So there's that. Lenore Sellers is your starting quarterback. Robbie Ashford is the backup. No surprise there. We knew it was going to be who was going to be on that side. On the defensive side of the ball, here's some interesting stuff. Kennard is on the edge. I was looking to see the other defensive lineman, Taka Hemingway. Yeah, no problem with that. Alex Huntley, Nick Barrett, or DeAndre Jules. Your edge, here's the crazy thing. JT Greer, Brian Thomas Jr., and then they have Dylan Stewart, who I think is going to be eventually a problem. A problem. Nice to see Bam Martin Scott getting the start at the Mike linebacker spot. He should have been there at the beginning of last season. Why he wasn't? Once he got in, the linebacking core started to look good. They didn't play him until, freaking forever. I don't understand that. Debo Williams obviously going to be the starter at the will. Your third stringer is the interesting one, Mo Kaba. Mo Kaba was like an all-conference freshman, I think he was a freshman All-American. Now, not so much. It's down to the third string. Maybe he's still working his way back. Nothing else really shocked me. Imanori, whose name I always mispronounce, O'Donnell Fortune. Those guys are going to be good in the secondary. DQ Smith doing his thing. I thought Bakari Swain would be the starter at the other cornerback. Maybe it's a rotation thing. Who knows at this juncture? Anyway, that is the South Carolina thing. That is the South Carolina depth chart. Some quick thoughts on that. Juju McDowell is listed as your lead kickoff returner, along with Nick Harbor. Interesting. Juju McDowell is also set to return punts. All right. I just thought that was interesting. Little itty bitty notes there about the Gamecock depth chart there. As we roll along here, so there was talk yesterday. Dabo Sweeney talked about why there are no longer live calls with the radio show. He says they've been thinking about making the changes for a while now. He says we've been talking about it for a while to make the change of the format, being able to take more questions, be able to talk more ball, having more than 2 or 3 people you spend the evening talking to. The veteran coach said it was not just based on the decision from the heated exchange between Tyler from Spartanburg last season. Quote, that certainly didn't help the cause, that's for sure. Sweeney finished by smiling, saying the following about the superfan Tyler. He's a great Clemson man and always will be. So basically, I don't really like it. I think it's silly. You take calls on your call-in show. I mean, I don't see what the big fucking ordeal is here. You know? Peg and Megan over there calling for Georgia to win by 3 touchdowns, bless his heart. Jason, how are you, sir? Fireball says I should look at the Tennessee depth chart. I don't really care. I know we have Tennessee folks that are there. Maybe that's what I'll do as I try to extend my olive branch to the folks from Tennessee. Maybe tomorrow I will look at the depth chart for Tennessee. I mean, I know who you've got playing. You know what I'm saying? We shall see. VicTube says 38-10. I'm assuming he's talking about the Georgia Clemson game. Okay. Sure. We'll see. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and run my mouth when Clemson had some issues last season. And do I think they've remedied some of them? Yes. Do I think they've remedied all of them? Nope. Any news on ETN and Mondone for this Saturday? Well, Smart said he wasn't going to mention anything about suspensions. Now, I don't know if that means they're playing or not. I don't know. Now, the idea that I can't remember, somebody said, well, somebody said something to the effect of ETN's charges were dropped. No, they weren't. He pleaded to something, which means that he had charges. So it's not just an issue of, you know, he got off the DUI, which I read that according to Georgia policy, they have to, a DUI charge like sits you for 10% of your activities, whatever. But in the end, he wasn't convicted of a DUI. He pleaded that charge down, and I think it was reckless driving. And, you know, whatever. Look, I don't think that ETN is a bad dude. Let's just make sure we put that out there. There's some, and I'll use this. This is the only term that I can use. There are some fucko Clemson fans out there that are running their dick suckers talking about ETN as a bad individual. You realize his fucking brother played for us, right? You realize that, right? Was one of the best fucking players we ever had. And, you know, we're just going to sit here and run our mouths about him and say, hey, you know, he's a horrible person because he didn't come to Clemson, essentially. And he got into a little bit of trouble with the law where he spent an evening in jail. And judging by his brother, who is a model student, by the way, why would you think that he would be just terrible? I don't get that. That's some fucko Clemson shit. Now, bear in mind, I hope that he doesn't have a good game on Saturday. Okay? But the idea that he's a piece of shit simply because he didn't follow his brother to Clemson is pretty damn low. And people wanting him suspended, and it's not just because we need to lay the hand down on him. And whatever Kirby Smart decides to do, by the way, that's on him. Okay? He runs his program. It's none of our fucking business. Let's make sure we get that out there. Okay? Whatever Kirby Smart decides to do with him is none of our fucking business. That young man agreed to go play for Kirby Smart, which means that he has to follow the rules that Kirby Smart put out before him. He agreed to that. So whatever Kirby Smart does to him, that's between him and ETN. And to be honest, it's not even really ETN. He's already signed himself up. If you don't like what Kirby Smart's going to do to you, then fucking transfer, dude. Okay? And that's with any player. But this whole thing of just fucking pettiness, I got into it with somebody in some Facebook group this morning, and they were running their mouths about it. And I was like, look, let me explain something to you. If ETN were on this year's team, Clemson would still probably lose to Georgia. Just reality. For Clemson to win this weekend, it's going to be they're going to need their A-plus game and hope that Georgia plays a B- game. That's how far Georgia has gotten above Clemson as far as depth and everything else. If you look at certain spots, Clemson's not even close. Quarterback being one of them. You can make an argument at running back, all right, if you wanted to go down that road. On the offensive line, not even close. I can make an argument on the defensive line that Clemson might be a little bit better in some spots. I like Clemson's linebackers. I don't know if they're head and shoulders above where Georgia is. Probably not. But Barrett Carter's a great player. The Clemson secondary, Khalil Barnes, is going to be a guy that's going to make plays on Sundays. But overall, for Clemson to win this game this week, they're going to need their A-plus game, no turnovers, no Maffa fumbling the ball, no Maffa missing blocks and getting Cade blindsided, no pick sixes from Cade, no I'm going to run whatever fucking play I want, not the play that you tell me from Cade. That shit has to go. Leave it on the fucking bus. You have to run your A-plus game and hope that Georgia comes in as a B-. And Georgia doesn't do that very often. They don't do that. So the idea that you're going to get that from them, no. I expect Clemson to play a respectable game against one of the best teams in the country. I think they're going to lose, but I don't think it's going to be a hammer down like Peg and Megan says. Okay? It's going to be a close, tight game. It's too much from Georgia. The fourth quarter, Georgia will probably pull away. Probably pull away. All right, so there's that. If you want to get involved with the program, have at it. I don't like what Dabo Swinney did. I'm not taking calls. When the hell are you going to face your fan base, sir? I think that's bullshit. It's bullshit. Because, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. There are people that go, you would think, all right, hey, the press will help as far as looking out for, the fans and the questions they have and et cetera. Yeah, not so much. There's a slew of people in that press room that are going to do nothing but suck on the Clemson penis. And this is not just at Clemson. Don't sit there if you're a fan of South Carolina or Georgia or Tennessee or whatever. It's every fucking where. All right? There's a slew of people that don't want to piss off the coach because they're afraid that they're not going to get favorable coverage or favorable access if they don't give lollipop gang coverage. And that's just the way that it is anywhere. Now, these same people, when I say stuff like this, they get pissed off and they'll say things like, you don't know what you're talking about, Rob. I try to be fair. No, you don't. No, you absolutely don't. I've sat in these press conferences with you. And I've seen you scowl when I ask questions. Like when I asked Will Muschamp, why did you take a guy to Tennessee with you and have him as an active player, knowing full damn well he's getting surgery on Monday morning? Why is that? And people look at me like, oh, why would you ask that? No, that's a valid damn question. It's things like that that are frustrating across the board because you have a lot of I'm going to blow folks here and blow folks there. Brock with a great comment here. Don't piss off Dion. He might cry. The whole thing where the entire athletics department has said that one Colorado newspaper reporter can't ask questions to Deion Sanders. You know what that says? That you're a pussy, Deion. That's what that says. Why don't you be man enough to take the question, whatever the hell he's got? Motherfucker, bring it to me. That's the way that it should be. I want your tough questions. You know why? Because then you can go and write whatever the hell you want, and then people can make their own decisions. It's not this sugar-coated shit that we constantly get from a lot of these pissy beat writers. Okay? And that's the way that it is. And it's absolutely true. And I stand behind that. And that's why a lot of people from that beat writer side, some of them don't like me. Not that I give a fuck. I don't care. I've been told by some older folks, you should try to be more respectful to the beat writers. Fuck those guys. Your job is to follow the beat and report it, not to be, oh, Dabo Hill family. I don't give a shit about that. Tell me about your linebackers. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. The things that are important to my readers. No one cares about this sugar cookie stuff. Hello, Harry. How are you?
You're on a roll. Don't let me interrupt.
I'm just being honest, sir. I get frustrated the more and more I read stuff. And I used to write a lot. It's just one of those things that I do that, I'm proud of the fact that I have the ability to communicate via pen. And I see stuff that's written now, and all of it is biased. All of it. There are very few reporters that actually I'll use Clemson because that's the team that I give a shit about, that are worthy of saying they're trying to get you the good stories and the things that are important. Everything else is just, how much Clemson penis can I suck? That's pretty much what it boils down to. And I know it's that way with Georgia because I've been in press conferences with those folks too. South Carolina, the same way. Let's not piss them off. They may revoke my credentials. Somebody threatened me with that one time. The school may revoke your credentials. I wish they fucking would. Because then guess what? I'm going to take whatever it is they give me and I'm going to make them fucking famous. They don't want to do that to you. As long as you're not doing something hurtful, they can't do that to you. But this whole idea, they'll revoke your, I don't give a shit. Fuck off forever. Stop with that nonsense. I have a job to do. And people don't do that anymore. And it sucks. It sucks. So anyway, sorry to rant on that. What you got for the show there, Harry?
Yeah, addressing the reporter stuff. It's probably the same for Clemson and maybe
it is.
Carolina as it is for us Georgia fans. You really are not going to get the truth unless you're off the mainstream. And
right.
I'm lucky enough to have access to that. And so I'm very careful. I couch what I say a lot so that I don't violate confidence. But trust me, in some of the chats that I'm in, yeah, the whole dirty laundry is exposed. There's
well, I can tell you this to be, and this is look, there are certain coaches that will talk to certain reporters. Okay, that happens. There are certain coaches that won't talk to certain reporters. Let's use Spurrier as an example. The whole Ron Morris thing, he wouldn't talk to Ron. He would not piss on Ron Morris if Ron Morris was on fire. Okay, but he would talk to Phil Kornblut. He would talk to a couple of other guys and give them stuff that he wouldn't give everybody else. Yeah. And that's his right as a coach. He can say whatever the hell he wants. He's the head ball coach. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, though, he would trust certain people. And I think it's that way with a lot of different coaches. I get that. But this whole thing of I have to be nice to a coach, no, man.
No,
look, here's the thing.
Big bucks.
Here's the thing. That coach is going to leave eventually. If I'm going to do this and be a reporter for any extended period of time, I'm going to be here longer than he is. He's not going to give a fuck about me when he takes his $17 million buyout and hauls his ass to Georgia talking about Muschamp. So, yeah, there's that. He's not going to give a shit about me. My people that follow me are going to care.
Yeah.
So that's the important part. And I think a lot of reporters don't think that way anymore. They really don't. So,
well, you know that anybody that's a Georgia fan knows that Kirby has absolutely zero like at all for Chip Towers, yet he hasn't been thrown out yet. And
well, and Chip has put out some stuff that I mean, I'm all about getting and putting out information that I've got, but there's been some stuff that he put out that was, oof,
exactly,
wow.
that's the reason I boycott AJC. Everything that they have a hand in, I boycott.
I well, and that's and you can do that if you want, but not everyone at the AJC sucks. There
No,
are some good
I didn't.
young reporters that are there that are doing their thing, but you don't have to read Chip Tower stuff. So there's that.
I
You
could
know,
be that way, but I'm not. I hold Spike for a long time. I'm old.
but I know, I know.
But let me clear something up for some of the folks in the chat that don't seem to, who have managed not to have to learn some legal intricacies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
uh, what happened with the ETN thing was uh, he refused to blow. And in Georgia, that's immediate suspension of your license for a year.
yep,
But it does not absolve you of the responsibility, legal responsibility of having to take the test. Well,
right,
he evidently blew below 0.08. So, in the determination of the, after that came to light, it was determined that the charge on him would be DUI less safe, which if you blow between 0.06 and 0.08 in
right,
Georgia, uh, that's a DUI
yep,
because some people get drunk with little alcohol, But anyway, he
right,
didn't blow, but he was reckless driving, and so they entered a no contendere plea to the
right.
DUI, and you get
Well,
one of those lifetime in Georgia as well. He can't.
right. Well, and that's the thing too. People that want to put their stuff out about that. Oh, he got a sweetheart deal. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He
That is
took
a
advantage of
that
what?
is a standard deal that
Yeah,
anyone would get with
yeah,
a DUI. So
nothing
let's
special.
stop that bullshit.
And,
Ridiculous. So
and one other thing, I'm getting tired, damn tired of reading
yeah. What's that?
from some of these casuals uh, is culture problem. Well,
Hmm.
I'm still waiting for someone to define what that is.
Well, what's the culture problem at Georgia? Beating the fuck out of everybody? You've lost 2 games in 4 years. What a shitty culture. What a
Uh,
fucking shitty culture. You win fucking every damn game you play.
I
You
don't.
like the majority of your players graduate. What the fuck else do you want? That's stupid too.
I
That's some
shared.
Tennessee bullshit. That's what that is.
I
That's
shared in
exactly
a,
what that is.
I shared in a chat the other night how Georgia's camp works, as so that others could contrast how their teams ran their camps. Well,
Mm-hmm.
guess what happened on day one? All keys were seized.
Yeah.
No keys for nobody. They were sequestered in a hotel across the street from the practice facility. Now, I don't know how much
Mm-hmm.
money that costs because them damn hotels right there are expensive, but they put the whole team up in there. And from 5 a.m. wake up until the 11 p.m. bed check, lights out, every moment of their time was controlled for
Yeah.
2 weeks until classes started.
Yep.
So that
Well,
gives
and
you an idea
gets
of the.
their attention. Yeah.
It's been that way ever since Kirby got there, and
Well, I hate to be the bearer to people here, and I'm not defending Georgia or any other program, but when you're between the ages of 18 and 23, or hell, up to your 28 years old, whatever, all right, and you have testosterone flowing and you live in an environment where everybody's trying to have the absolute biggest pecker, things are going to happen. You might drive a little fast. You might drink a little beer. You might do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Pay your dues and move on. That's the way that it should be. Now, if it gets to a point like the old Baylor culture where, hey, we're just going to rape fools in the middle of the damn parking lot, then that's different. But people speeding and drinking, stop it. Stop it. How many people in this damn chat haven't got a goddamn speeding ticket? Think about it.
I'd like to see a show of hands how many of them have had to face the judge for a crime.
Hmm.
You know,
It's just
it's
stupid.
just a whole different game when you got to go before the judge and you got to hire yourself an attorney because you screwed up. And, you know, it brings a real sudden realization of the real world because they do not care once you get charged. It's up to you to extricate yourself from it as best as you can and then make amends for your sin, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, got to figure that out.
You got to put the big boy pants on and grow up. Simple.
Yep, that's with everybody. So,
but no depth chart from Georgia.
did you expect to see a depth chart?
No.
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 Fuck out of here. No.
So I also will say that 2 weeks ago, I was told that there would be suspensions. Now, no names, of course, were mentioned, and I'm not going to mention any right now. But there's long-standing Kirby policy in play here, and it's not like that it hasn't been enforced in prior seasons. Unless you were paying attention to the opening lineups and the guys who dressed out, you wouldn't know.
Right.
So,
well, most coaches do that, man. You're as far as
they do have a little responsibility for the private kids. So,
yeah. All right, Harry, I appreciate it, buddy. Have a good day.
You too, bud. Bye.
All right, let me answer some questions over here from the chat. Where does Kirby rank as a coach now, Rob? Well, he finally got over the hump and stopped just winning the recruiting national title and won 2 national titles. I don't think there's, I mean, what do you want? He's the top 2, top 3 coach. It's kind of hard to think there's very many people ahead of him right now after Saban has retired. Are you, Biscuit? I think that you're smarter than that, dude. Do I have to tell you that you're pretty every damn day of the week? Did you like the prom queen? You got to be reminded every other day. Come on, Biscuit, be better. Peg and Megan says, I'm crying. I'm sorry that I exhibit passion, sir, and that I give a shit. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, sir. You can go in the bathroom and wipe your vagina and then come back to the program. Billy says, will Kirby hand out discipline? Well, that depends on his discipline may not be good enough for some people, but in the end, it's his program. Do whatever the hell he wants. Newspapers are cesspools. Very good, sir. As far as Biscuit there, X is a cesspool. Yes, Rooster, good point. Biscuit says that he swims in the cesspool on X. Yes. Twitter is a shithole. That's pretty much the way that it goes. Let's see here. Fireball asks, how well can you write, Rob? How good of a writer are you, Rob? Do you think you could write an essay for a GED? I don't know with the way that I write, if I wrote an essay for your GED, that they would give it to you because they would automatically know that you're a fucking moron. And anything that I wrote for you, they'd know that you were cheating. You know, I'd spell your name correctly at the top of the paper. They'd already know, fuck, this guy's cheating. So there you go with that. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, I got a quick question for you. As a Kentucky fan, I got a little bit of knowledge on the DUIs, reckless driving, and a whole slew of other off-field incidences by the players. That's what we're known for. But if you go in front of the judge, and he finds you not guilty, you know, my mind is telling me you shouldn't get a penalty. I mean, really,
Well,
you
but
done.
he, as far as ETN goes, he agreed to plead guilty to something. So he didn't get convicted of a DUI. He agreed to plead guilty to, what was it, reckless driving and something else. So I mean, he's convicted because he pled guilty. So there's that.
Yeah, and when those happen, like Kentucky, you get a 4 or 5 game suspension, whether you're found not guilty or not. I mean, they just suspend you no matter what. But I never agreed with that with Kentucky. I think if you're found not guilty or you plea it down or whatever, I mean, what do you do in that situation? I'll get off here and listen to what you say.
I think if you're convicted of anything well, I have the mentality of, Roger Goodell has the whole thing with, if you bring dishonor to the shield in the NFL, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll use Deshaun Watson as an example. Some of the shit that he was putting in his Instagram stuff, that he was saying to these women that he was messing with, it's pretty fucking disgusting. Did he commit any crimes? Nope. He was not charged with a crime, period. Nothing that all of it went away. But he brought disgrace to the shield. That's kind of the way that Goodell looked at it, and that's why he was suspended and all of that other stuff. So there's that. I think it's the same way with the program. The first thing that you see in a headline is Georgia football player, Trevor Etienne. Your name's not mentioned first. It's Georgia football player, which means that you're bringing a cast to the program that, okay, there's a drunk in our program. Are there more drunks over there? That kind of thing. Let's welcome to the program, Mr. Rec Talk. Sir, I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to congratulate your team on going over there and smacking around some Seminole. I'm sure you had a few brewskis after that, my friend, but good win for your program.
Yeah, Big Dick's entered the chat now. Yeah, and there's first of all, I told you I'd run them off the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm a man of my word, are I not? Boy, they disappeared quick, didn't they?
I have not seen one Florida State fan in any stream that we have done from Sunday on. Today is Tuesday, which means we've had 3 different lives. I haven't seen a Florida State fan comment in a chat on anything that I've watched. Where the fuck are you? You're the cockroaches of fucking YouTube. No one's seen you. I don't know, where the hell are they?
And I'll say it here. They want to run their mouths before the game, but their mouths have the same problem their eyes and ears do. They're attached to a bunch of pussies. So that's why they're gone.
Isn't it great when you win and you could say shit like that? Yeah.
What's that?
It's great when you win because you can say that. And what can they say to you? Nothing.
Well, they can't say anything to me because if Tech would have lost, I'd still be on here streaming. I'd still be doing my channel. They get the right to just disappear and hide in their little troll hole somewhere. Go watch Matlock and Perry Mason.
Well, but yeah, I'm in the camp of someone messaged me. He's like, you know what? Clemson may end up playing Tech in Charlotte this year. I hope that happens. We shall see.
Well, it would be fun just because that rivalry's gone now. Now, it hadn't been much of a rivalry since it's dominated it.
But. But I mean, Tech owns the lead overall in the series. I mean, but I remember the days when, like the Woody Dantzler days when, who was your quarterback then? But him and Dantzler went back and forth, and it'd be like, 38-37 or some ridiculous score like that. Just those two. I remember a game where those two just, would run up and down the field, leaving their souls out there. And I think Clemson lost that game in Atlanta, if I remember right. But it is, I remember Georgia.
Fun.
Yeah, it was fun,
for
but
a while.
Then Clemson, Clemson had their expansion and kind of left Georgia Tech in the
well, we decided to run
shadows
the option for whatever goddamn reason, but
that ended up. I thought that was going to be worthwhile for a bit, and then it kind of just faded away.
Well, then people figured it out. But I'll say this: you got a big game coming up,
Sure.
neutral site, which is really a true neutral site game because Clemson's not far at all from Atlanta, maybe 2 hours, right?
Nope, it's not.
How far is Clemson from Atlanta?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not. Yeah, it's about 2 hours. It's not that far, is what I was saying. Yeah.
I'm saying it's not like a neutral site where Oregon came and played them at the Benz, right? It's more of a true. But I think, and you tell me what you think. This is a big, like, Dabo could shut a lot of people up in this game, like all the portal stuff and all the God and Jesus and NIL and all that. If he comes out here, and I don't even think he's got to beat Georgia. I mean, I don't know if you're picking him to beat Georgia, but if he comes and plays them like close within a field goal, I think he might could shut some people up with that. What do you think?
I think that he's going to have to deal with the whole thing of you're not using the transfer portal, get with the times. And I feel that way too. Now, I'm not saying you should go the Florida State method where you have a bunch of, 15 transfers that are starters for you. I'm not saying that.
Down at quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, you could, like, Clemson could have used, I don't know. I think retaining your own guys too. The kid that's a starting safety for Texas, Mokumba, I pronounce his name horribly. He's going to be an all-conference player, I think, for them. Let's try to work on keeping those guys. Toriano Pride's going to start for Missouri. That's another kid that could have helped them this year. I'd be more worried. Let's keep those guys and then supplement on some of the other spots. Go out and get, like Florida State did last year. What was it, Coleman, that wide receiver that tore everybody up? Go get one of those guys. Yeah, go get one of those guys to help out the wide receiver core. But he's going to catch that. But if his way works, if they go in and they beat Georgia this weekend, holy shit, he will embarrass me at the damn press conference. It will be the worst press. I won't even fucking watch it. It'll be that bad.
Well,
terrible.
You can have 85 kids on scholarship, right?
Right, yep.
How does that work at Clemson if you can't use the portal? You only recruit so many players a year.
Right, yep. Well, it's the same way that everybody else used to do it. I mean, it's,
but you didn't have transfers before. You didn't have 10 to 20 people transferring a year out of a school. So they just always under their 85?
Even if you look at, like, they don't oversign at Clemson. Like, their classes are 17, 18, 19 guys. They don't oversign, so there's
that
some
makes
of
it
that,
worse then.
Yeah, it does. Look, all I know is that they can. What was it? The composite has them as the fifth best roster in the country right now, and so they're doing something right. They got a top 5 roster. Sure. So, I mean, they're doing something right. Let's just leave it at that. I think they should supplement with the transfer portal, but maybe he'll come around on that. I don't know. We'll see.
What else are you watching this weekend? I'll tell you, I'm watching North Carolina, Minnesota.
Well, I will be on the radio covering South Carolina Old Dominion, so I will be watching South Carolina Old Dominion. Fuck my life.
Well, Old Dominion will sneak up on a team like Virginia Tech. Better be careful.
I don't. Well, I mean, it's just like these games kind of bore me,
Sure.
Next week when South Carolina plays Kentucky, that'll be a fun game to keep track of. But yeah, this weekend I'll be watching that along with the Miami and Florida game. I'll definitely be into that one.
That line surprised me. 2 points for Miami is kind of shocking. You would think Miami's head and shoulders better above Florida, wouldn't you? But I guess in the swamp, I don't know.
It seems like there's this thing now where nobody's really like putting their dick out there and saying, hey, Florida's going to be good, okay? But there are people that are putting this little snippets out there. Florida's roster's pretty good. Maybe Billy Napier kind of knows, but it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where if Florida gets 4 or 5 wins, then it's, well, I fucking told you, blah, 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 that they were the greatest thing ever. that's the kind of thing people are putting out there now. I personally think that Napier is a dope, an absolute dope with some of the stuff that he's done.
Was getting
And some
sued
of
by a
his
recruit, right? I mean, that's
yeah, and
about
some of
it.
his decisions on the field are just like, what in the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
It
So
aren't good.
they're not good. So it's like, I think they're going to be a shithole this year. But
Yeah,
we'll
and there's been people saying, "Oh, Brent Key's going to go to Florida." Get the fuck out of here! No, he's
why
not.
would he go there?
Georgia Tech's a better
Seriously.
program right now. Why would he do that?
Why would he go? We talked about this the other day. Emmitt Smith was basically told black athletes don't go to Florida. He actually put that out in a tweet.
Oh,
That was
I
like in
remember
January.
that.
Yeah. So you got one of the biggest Florida alumni telling black players don't go to Florida. But yeah, that's where a good coach wants to go. Get out of here with that bullshit. Now, I don't know anybody like they're going to have to go the retread route. No up and coming coach is going to want to go there. They're going to have to go like retread I don't want to say it's not going to be Urban Meyer, but it's going to be
Manny Diaz. They get him from Duke.
Well, I mean, it may be that front, but on the other end, I mean, it's going to have to be a guy like that. It really is. Maybe an Ed Orgeron. Don't laugh.
Oh, that would be great.
Maybe. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but oh man, I'll be watching all of that shit.
DK is coming out on the field today, boy.
Yeah, I stop it. I'm just saying that's the route they're going to have to go.
Well, all right, man. I'll hop off. Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it. Biscuit says Georgia Tech is a better program than Florida, and I think he says that's a ridiculous statement. Which program would you rather be looking at right now there, Biscuit? Which program has a better trajectory right now, Georgia Tech or Florida State? Or Florida, I'm sorry. I don't know. Speaking of someone that, we were talking about Dabo can make a statement there. If Napier wins this game against Miami, that might shut some folks up for a couple of days. I still think he's a dope, but that might shut some folks up for a couple of days. Pagan Megan says, Napier may be a dope. Remember, Dabo recruited DJ. Yep, he did. What's up, Biscuit? How are you?
What's going on?
How
I'm
are
in
you,
the
sir?
shadow here. That's an absolutely ridiculous statement that Georgia Tech is a better program than Florida. They might be a better team right now, but overall, as a better program, I would go to the place with more money sources, more potential, more upside, more resources. I mean, they've won 2 national titles in fairly recent memory. Let's not forget.
So you think that Florida has a better trajectory right now than Georgia Tech?
What's your definition of trajectory?
Trajectory means
Georgia
the program is going
maybe
up.
9-3 in the ACC. That's
so
about
trajectory is going up and going that way. Is what I mean by that.
Well, no, but I mean Georgia Tech's upper trajectory is like 9-3 in the ACC. Florida's is hold on, let me finish.
They won a national title in 1990, right? I mean, it's not.
Florida's is 2 years from now they could be playing for a national championship type thing. I mean, that's potential with all they have, the right coach, the right resources, they can do that.
Okay.
Georgia Tech doesn't have that. That's a silly statement. Any coach, okay, so if any coach in the country that's a hot coach is going to take Florida over Georgia Tech in terms of jobs, first of all, they'll get paid more. There's no doubt about that. I think Brent Key, by the way, I think Brent Key is a terrific coach, and I'm not taking anything away. I think their coaching staff at Tech right now is awesome. I think Buster Faulkner is a great offensive coordinator, and they've done an amazing job in a year and a half. But to say that these programs are now just because, even with Florida having 3 consecutive losing seasons and probably 4 after this year, their upside is obviously they easily 5 years from now could have it turned back on and winning national titles again.
Is it? Do you feel that way because of the fact of where they are? Meaning that there's a lot more players to recruit in Florida, basically? Is it because of the recruiting part of it, or?
Well, it's a lot of things. It's just they're a bigger, better program. They have more money resources. They have better facilities. I mean, have you been to Georgia Tech? Like downtown, there's nowhere to grow. It's an old stadium. It's just, it's sort of football there is sort of an afterthought. I hate to say that, and I know there's not a lot of rabid Tech fans and whatever, and I'm happy for them that they got that win. That was a great win, no doubt. And they played, by the way, and last year they played well against Georgia, and they played well in a couple of big games and almost. I think did they open with you guys? Is that the opener last year?
Oh, it was 2 years ago.
Maybe, was it 2 years ago? Okay.
I think so.
I didn't know. I knew in the first half they had played well. They were leading you at halftime or something.
I can't remember, to be completely
but yeah, I
honest
mean,
with
but they've. I mean, I honestly do think he should be worried that Brent Key would leave because he's a terrific coach. There's no doubt about that. You can see a complete difference in how that team plays now versus what they had 2 years ago. But no offense. I'm going to give not on the same level. I mean,
I got to give credit to Uncle Lou. Uncle Lou said something the other day in one of his videos where he said that Tech was a better team than Florida State because they're an actual team. That's a very true statement. Tech plays like they give a shit about each other. It's not I'm trying to get film. I'm trying to get whatever. They're trying to, our objective is to beat the fuck out of you. That's what they're trying to do as a team. So when you get a coach that can convince players to do that, that's a great thing. So there's that.
Yeah, but just to be clear, I mean, if Florida and Georgia Tech were playing this Saturday at a neutral site game, I'm betting you it's either even or Florida's favor, even with the results that happened last weekend.
I got to check the composite on the roster for Florida. I'll check that out. I can't remember, but it's like there's talent at Florida. It's not like they're going to roll out there and go with the talent that they have on the roster. The fact that we look at them and they may have a 4-8 season, it's kind of depressing. And that I think that's more.
It's total underachieving. Yeah, I mean,
it's completely underachieving. Which that you pin that on the coach.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I agree.
So
in that matchup,
Napier's just a dope. He's just a dope, man.
In that matchup, obviously Georgia Tech would have a huge coaching advantage, and I think across the staff. I don't think just Key. I think he's got some great coordinators.
Well, I think that Cristobal's a dope too. I mean, it's like the dope bowl. That's kind of how I feel with these two this week, man. I don't like if you told me I could have either one of those coaches, I'd be like, no, man. They go get Billy from fucking Tennessee. He's retired. They put his ass back in there.
Yeah,
he probably would do a better job than those two dopes. I just don't feel an over oozing of confidence with either one of those guys.
Yeah, I was texting with my friends during that Tech Florida State game, and I was like, all right, well, Tech's a problem again. We've had so many years of I mean, last year's the exception, but we've had so many years where they didn't even look like they belonged on the field. They were undersized. They were running that Paul Johnson offense, the undersized linemen. They didn't even look like they fit in. And now, after last year and seeing what I've seen early this year, they're certainly not going to be an easy out again. So even in Athens.
Well,
so
that's true. So there's that, I guess. I don't know, man. I think that and here's the thing though, they were the only national game of relevance over the weekend, so they got a huge publicity bump from it.
Mm.
What's going to be interesting is once we get to like week 4 or 5, and if they drop a game or two, are people still going to care? That's kind of the thing too. You know, are they going to care? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, do you have real faith in Haynes King? Like, I don't. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's that.
What did he throw? Like 18 interceptions last year?
16.
He didn't put up good numbers. In the game the other day.
No.
But what did Georgia Tech do though? Their offensive line is their strength. Okay, they had a good offensive line last year. Returned the majority of the guys from that.
Yeah.
They busted them up for almost 200 yards on the ground.
I think they did get over 200.
So I mean, the whole point is that if they can do that to a lot of people, that's going to be hard to beat. I mean, it's going to make them competitive in every game. If I tell you, look, you're going to rush for 200 yards every game, I don't care who you're a fan of. You're going to be like, we're going to do that. We're going to have a good shot. We're going to rush for 200 yards. Yep, that's pretty good.
What's going to happen with them is I don't know exactly what their schedule is, but they beat Florida State, which is a huge win. They'll win some games. They're going to come up against a team that they're favored against suddenly, maybe a more competitive team. I'm not talking about like Wake, and they'll lose that game. They're going to lose a couple that you're not expecting them to just because they don't have the talent the depth, everything.
Well, the
to
schedule
go
for
to
Georgia,
run the gamut or anything. But I still think, 8-4, 9-3. I mean, that would be.
Well, their schedule here, but we got it right here. Let's go. We'll look at it right now. They open with Florida State.
They have an easy. They have VMI and
Georgia State. Then they've got VMI, Louisville, Duke, North Carolina. They play Notre Dame. That's in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Then they follow that up with a trip to Virginia Tech. Miami's at home, NC State's at home, and then Georgia wraps up the season.
Yeah, they'll do something like they'll beat Notre Dame and then lose to North Carolina. Yeah, well, and then they'll beat Miami and they'll lose to NC State.
They'll probably drop a game to NC State because NC State, well, it's a home game, but I mean, I could see them losing on the road. Syracuse might get them too. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Syracuse with what they've done. I don't know. I mean, Donovan McNabb's not there anymore, but Syracuse supposedly has some offensive linemen people like. We'll see.
Syracuse.
We shall see.
Come on.
I'm just telling you what I've heard, my friend. I mean,
are you excited about the new Clemson Cal rivalry that's going to start?
I mean, if you're going to troll me in the chat.
Well, which one do you play? Do you play Cal?
We don't have Cal this year.
Oh, okay.
Hold on one second. Let me grab it.
Okay. I feel like I should entertain while I'm on here or something. Juggle.
That's my mother-in-law. She's picking up my son. She was telling me that, and I was like, I already knew that. But she likes to call, and she's 72, and so when she calls, I answer the phone just in case it's something silly. But anyway, yeah, I no, the whole thing. Clemson has Stanford this year. That's the new opponent that Clemson got. They're not playing SMU. They're not playing Cal. They get the tree. What a shithole.
Oh, that'll be a nice rivalry.
Oh, it's not? God damn it. Stop it. I can't defend any of this shit. Like, hey, everybody else, like, look, the SEC decides they're going to expand. They go and get the two best teams from the Big 12. Clemson goes and gets the shit from the Pac-12. No, they don't go and get, the ACC goes and gets, like, they don't go and get Oregon. No, we don't want them. They don't go and get, any good team from the Pac-12. Now we're going to go get Stanford, and we're going to go and get Cal.
Well, and then they preach that it's about academics. Come on, man.
Well, look, the deal that they signed with SMU, where SMU doesn't get TV rights money for like 5 years or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just from a financial standpoint, bringing Dallas, that market into the conference, I can half see that.
That makes sense. It does make sense.
Okay. I mean, I may not like it, but
they have a ton of money there.
In the end, on the financial front, it's going to make a little sense. But what the hell do we get from the tree? Nothing.
One of my best friends graduated from SMU, and I'd been over there to visit him a couple of times many years ago, and they do have a ton of money. There is no doubt about that. Hence the Pony Express. Go look up the Pony Express back in the early 80s if you're in the chat and you haven't seen that before. I think ESPN did something on that. Go look.
Yeah, there's a 30 for 30 on that. But
they had a payroll.
I think that we're at a point now where everything's going to be about football and conferences. And I think that I like the idea of if you don't do well, maybe they should boot you out.
You want relegation?
Absolutely. Look, what does Vanderbilt bring to your schedule as a Georgia fan? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What does Arkansas bring to your schedule? Nothing.
We don't even play Vanderbilt this year.
Well, I'm just saying, generally, though, you would. And the idea of, hey, you got to play Vanderbilt, that doesn't do anything to help your schedule, especially if we get to a point where your schedule is what's going to put you in to the college football playoff. The fact that you have Vanderbilt there, that's not helping you.
Rob, we don't need help with our schedule. I'm not trying to sound like a troll, braggadocious, whatever. We don't need help with our schedule.
Look, I could give you a shitty SEC schedule. Would you like one? You want 8 shitty games? We can give you 8 games that are horse shit, and it's not going to help you at all. We can go down that road if you really want to go.
So what are you talking about? What are you going to do? Pick the 8?
I'm just saying that the way that your schedule goes, you could have a schedule that is a quote SEC schedule, but play a bunch of shitbirds, and you're not going to be challenged at all.
Tell me about that schedule.
Well, let's see here: South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas.
So you're going to take the bottom 8 teams in the conference currently?
Yeah, you could end up with that on a rotation where your schedule is an SEC schedule, but it's shit.
Scoop up. That's still. I bet that schedule is still better than some in some Power 5 conferences.
And you're absolutely right, but I think it gets to a point where if you are consistently terrible, which is what Vanderbilt is, okay, if you can't win a conference game in 4 straight seasons, maybe you shouldn't be in the conference. That's where I'm going.
But you do realize that there are other sports in the conference. Not that I'm interested in them. There's some other fans.
But football is the bell cow, sir.
Yeah. I agree.
Look, the SEC doesn't have men's soccer. South Carolina plays men's soccer in Conference USA. Soccer is the world sport allegedly, but the SEC is like, fuck it, we're not playing that. We don't have that in conference. So the idea of there's other sports, okay. In the end, it comes down to what you do on Saturdays in the fall.
Football's
absolutely.
Football's the breadwinner. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
So we have a team in there that has no pulse. I agree. I went and saw the Georgia Vanderbilt game last year and was disappointed to see the shape of the stadium. With all that money they have, fix the goddamn stadium. But.
Right. Well, Jackpot says Vanderbilt didn't go 4 years without a conference win. I'm saying if they do, let's make sure we put that out there. If you go 4 years, you don't win a game in conference, maybe you shouldn't be in the conference.
They usually trade off 1-7, 2-6 pretty much. That's kind of what they.
True. All right, buddy. Well, as always, I appreciate it, and it's always good to have you join the show, man. Thank you.
Huh.
All right, there you go. Let's welcome in Billy before I get out of here. Billy, what's up?
Hey, how did my name get brought in all this?
Because I think that you could run a better program as far as with what Cristobal's and Napier are doing with 2 flagship programs in the state of Florida. I think you could walk in and motivate those young men to not be shitheads, and you wouldn't have issues with fucking timeouts and all the other bullshit. Taking a knee, you would know to do that. I'll tell you what, we'll let Jackpot do it. Jackpot could go down there and run those things.
That quarterback, the player should have had a party for him that night. Just take a knee and then take the punishment. But anyway, what I'm calling is since there's a lot of Georgia Tech, Florida, and there's a lot of people still down on Georgia Tech. So the question is, was Florida State that bad or was Georgia Tech that good? What I seen on TV is I seen Florida State get manhandled on both sides of the ball on the line. And I seen Florida State was a very incompetent quarterback.
Well, let me make sure that I put this out there so people will understand. As a Clemson fan, a Florida State loss is a win for the country. When Florida State wins, it's like the Taliban winning. That's how I feel about them. My hatred for that program, I fucking don't like them at all. Not one piece of them. They can all go to hell in a handbasket for all that I care. I despise them. I'm just saying I cannot stand Florida State. So when they lose, it makes me happy. It makes me absolutely happy. Now, I can remember as a kid, Georgia Tech beating the fuck out of Clemson too. Maybe that soured on me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like, they're Georgia Tech. But Florida State, I mean, I still want to slap the fuck out of Chris Winkie. I can't stand that son of a bitch. I don't like him. I don't like Peter Warwick.
He was probably the assistant coach with Pruitt. Yeah. When they all got fired, he was there.
Well, good. I hope that he gets on the breadline from the Depression. I can't stand that son of a bitch. I hate him. Don't like him anymore. So
yeah, what happened to Ray? Ray usually calls in on Sundays. We didn't
Ray,
hear him.
See, Jackpot says Ray doesn't call anymore. I think you ran him off. Shut
Yeah.
up.
You were ugly to Ray.
I wasn't mean to Ray. I was polite to Ray. Look, we all can't get along with the teams that we have. I just don't like fucking Florida State. I don't like them. Fuck them.
Yeah. When
Fuck
you get
forever.
older, you'll calm down. I don't hate any team.
Well,
somebody asked me the other day, who's the one team that you'd want to beat as a Tennessee fan? It don't matter. Just get us in a bowl game. And as far as Vanderbilt, we keep them out around because it keeps up the academic GPA for the conference.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You got to keep. They got a good baseball. They're.
I'm just saying, football's the bell cow, sir.
Well, it is. And when Franklin was there, he had some good years. It's all about recruiting, and just back to Georgia Tech.
Well, when they got good though,
in recruiting and right now, and he's cleaning up in the state of Georgia. There's enough people.
Remember though, when Franklin got there, that was the year Vanderbilt led the conference in raping. They did. They led the conference in raping, and then all of a sudden they're really good for a little bit. I mean, 8-4, whatever they finished, and then he leaves and heads to Penn State. So he had to go and get the players that would end up kind of. He had to go the wrong way.
Kirby Smart being a Saban cycle, I got a feeling that there's going to be some suspensions leveled out. We won't know. It's probably none of our business now, which it isn't. But I'm sure he'll because I heard your thing about 18-year-olds and they do this and do that. When you come, how many times have they heard the speech? You represent this university and you're not going to do that crap. We're not tolerating it. How many times do you hear that? And they've heard it more than once. The assistant coaches stay on there. I'll tell you what, it doesn't happen at Alabama. And if it does,
they do a good job of hiding it.
That's right. And
how dare you get pulled by one of the police officers that we don't have on the payroll? The hell's wrong with you?
Rob, this is supposed to be serious.
You think that doesn't
how would you like to
wait, hold on. You think that doesn't happen? Come on now.
You talk about putting in a precarious position as being, I was in the Air Force for years, and if you got a DUI, you're gone. No questions asked. And I couldn't do nothing for the kids. No questions. You're gone. The higher the rank you were, the faster you go. You're gone.
Bye.
Period.
Yeah.
And you were told. You've been told since day one. You get a DUI, you're going to get kicked out of the Air Force. Period. If you pop positive on a piss test, you're getting kicked out. No questions. They don't care who your daddy is, what church you go to, or whatever. So having been in that system, I'm kind of, and I'm sure that Kirby is somewhat of a disciplinarian coming as a Saban disciple. So I'm sure things will be levied out and all's well. I don't think you'll see that happening anymore, but who knows?
Well, I'm also in the camp of the young men that go there. As you said, they have rules. Whatever the hell Kirby Smart does with them, it's none of our business.
Yep, exactly. I'm sure there'll be stuff leveled out.
None of your business. So let it go. That's the way that it should be.
So what else can we talk about? I don't know.
What do you got, man? That's it, isn't it? I mean, there's the Colorado thing. I was going to talk about that tomorrow. We'll get into that tomorrow. But I'm
so tired of hearing about Dion. I don't even click on anything anymore that's got him. He's so
I think what's going to be funny is the people betting on thinking they're betting with their heart. You know what I'm saying? For the matchup that they have Thursday night or whatever, and they're just betting against him. All right, well,
I'm gonna tell you what. I used to live in North Dakota, and North Dakota State's always had a team, and they're usually in the Division II FCF.
Yeah,
they ain't gonna be pushed around.
They're not gonna be pushed around, but I just think that once again, and hey, maybe they'll go out and win that game. That would be.
I'd put $1,000 on it. The Billy test. Would you put $1,000? If I had to put $1,000, I'd put it on North Dakota State straight up
to win straight up. Well,
Yep.
good luck with that.
Yep. Because I just don't think.
Well, but like we've seen a team of mercenaries already go out and get their ass handed to them overseas.
Exactly.
What's the if North Dakota State comes in and they are a better, their mindset is we are a team, we're going to fight and die together. Yeah, he ain't got any of that. He ain't got no boys like that out there. That ain't gonna work.
Not having looked at the roster, I'd be willing to bet that 90% of the roster is from North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana.
Of course,
so
young kids. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for having
Billy.
me. Later,
appreciate
bye-bye.
it, man. You have a good day. There you go, Billy joining the program. They are a good program. Jackpot over there, dreaming of the days of Jameis Winston. Bless your heart, Jackpot. Bless your heart. All right, guys, as always, we appreciate you. If you haven't made your picks for the Callaway's Picker Challenge, link is in the description. If you want to go and make your picks, go ahead and get them in now. That way you don't have to worry about it. All right? Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later on.